Now this is a tricky video to make, and I'm going to be blunt, I don't know the answer to this problem. This might come as a shock to many of you who consider me the smartest person you know. Some even call me a beacon of guiding light when it comes to knowledge, and today I will, further prove this and expand my intellectual mind by simply stating, I don't know. This topic of when the Abyss Sibiling came to Teyvat, how it's possible they could have never left the ship, yet appeared outside of it, it's a conundrum, and one that might even be trickier than you're being led to believe. Like, literally everything is wrong with everything here. For instance, technically, our twin should at the bare minimum have been on Teyvat for hundreds of years before awakening us, given that's how long the ship went undisturbed. Not even anything to do with, the whole recent, the ship came to Teyvat once thousands of years ago, just at the bare minimum, hundreds of years before awakening us. And this is just one example, so let me show you how deep this rabbit hole really goes. I'm an arachnophobia, after all, which means, I think better when speaking aloud, so let's begin. We first saw our twin rescue us via Columbina using the Moon Mirror. The Moon Mirror presumably used the memories of the land to allow us to look into the past, but Teyvat's memories are bound to Irminsul. See the problem? What's there to say Irminsul wasn't altered to hide our siblings' past, given, let's not forget, someone's already altered Irminsul to hide our siblings' future?
But just as her journey was about to reach its conclusion, the Irminsul records on her suddenly become fuzzy.
What do you mean, fuzzy? Did something happen to her?
All I know for sure is that somebody, for reasons only they can know, is deliberately obfuscating her fate. And whoever it is, if they can do that, who knows what else they're capable of.
Now, while we still don't know who did this, odds are it's Vedrfolnir, right? Aside from having the power to do this as one of the 5 bastard sinners, his whole thing is fate, right? Rise above the fate bestowed upon you.
Go forth, become a transcendent one, rise beyond the fate bestowed upon you.
The Traveler Sibiling was seemingly given an off-ramp this patch to this conundrum of how they could have possibly never left the ship but appeared on the outside of it, with the revelation that the twin ship has made it to Teyvat once before, thousands of years ago.
But the logs show that our spaceship flew over the skies of Teyvat once before. A long, long time ago.
Flew over? So you didn't land?
No. The ship barely came to a stop before flying on again. After that, it continued traveling through space for a long time. Some of the data is corrupted, but I suspect that it kept flying for thousands of years. It was only after that that the ship made a forced landing in nod-krais. When Lumine found me, she came from outside the ship. Could this mean that she left the ship long before I did? Maybe even during our first pass over Teyvat.
Now at a glance, some might immediately write off the possibility that the twin could have been on Teyvat for thousands of years, but not me. No. I'm far too smart to overlook such an obvious clue. So I went back and checked the references for the start of our siblings' journey and found this. Varying sources agree on where the Traveler Siblings' journey started, but they say nothing about when the Traveler Siblings' journey started.
According to the records I was able to access, your sibling suddenly appeared in Conria. After the Conria disaster, she began her journey through the 7 nations of Teyvat.
The reason why there are records about your sister in Irminsul, it might have something to do with Conria. Apparently, Conria was her first destination when she arrived in this world. Plus, she only came to this world because the heavens responded to the summoning.
Folks, what if? Conria, mind you, has existed for 6,000 years, with its founding at the end of the War of Funerary Flame. Quote, I've heard of people who are building a new nation without gods. Perhaps they'll have the power to stand against this world. What's to say the Sibiling couldn't have been there from the beginning? The hell, this could help to explain the Teyvat situation. How can the Teyvat be from the Traveler's homeworld and from Conria? And it could be the Sibiling is the reason the Teyvat exists in Conria, because they have the Teyvat on their persons, and a connection to Conria. Part of the problem with the Heavenly Principles ship AI Intivat argument is, why would the Heavenly Principles place the Intivat in Conria, which was founded after the War of Funerary Flame? And let's not forget, Conria is a subterranean nation by which little natural flora and fauna existed, so they had to use alchemy, the art of chemia, to create such flora and fauna, which should indicate the Intivat was introduced to Conria by someone or something. Why not the twin? What sources do we have that contradict this claim that the Sibiling could have been in Conria for thousands of years? It's actually the lack of any sources that speaks the loudest. The fact that no sources in Conria thus far speak of the Sibiling beyond their interactions with King Irmin, the last king of Conria, says something. King Irmin specifically is the biggest argument against the Sibiling having arrived earlier, given it's been told to us numerous times King Irmin changed greatly when he met the Sibiling, which implies there was a different, side of King Irmin before they met the Sibiling.
Oh, Rerir, with every step you take, you're drifting further from what you truly desire. But you're not the root of the problem. Ever since that outsider set foot in Conria, the Vinster King has sunken deeper into madness.
And further, there are other sources that speak of the Sibiling being new to Conria. Quotes, the golden-haired crown prince or princess, for his or her part, gazed out at the sea of humanity, unsure, only now realizing that so many dwelled in this underground realm. And now again, here's the problem. It's that this argument from silence can be chalked up to Irminsul. As we know, Irminsul doesn't only alter the memories of people, but also that of writings and documents to reflect the new reality. So, if the twins' past was changed through Irminsul to make it seem as if they only appeared during Conria's twilight years, then the sources we have describing their interactions with Conria as fresh are exactly what we'd expect to find. You know what the weirdest thing about all this is, circling back to the beginning of the video, is despite the fact that I'm framing all this as the Sibiling popped up in Conria a little over 500 years ago at some point during Irmin's rule, let's not forget something sneaky we learned. The ship the twins came in, after it crashed to nod-krais, the ship was there with a traveler in it for hundreds of years.
What is this thing? I've never seen it move, and there's no way to get inside.
Goodness knows. My grandpa says it's been sitting here at least since his grandpa was still alive.
What about his grandpa? Did he say anything to your grandpa's grandpa about it?
Huh? I don't know. In all likelihood, it was here back then too. Hard to imagine something this huge could move.
Guess that means that as far as they're concerned, this ship's been around a long time.
And all this time, the twin wasn't in it because we never see them leave, yet they pop from the outside right at the start of the cataclysm, so that begs the question, for those hundreds of years before the Traveler was woken up, what was going on with the Sibiling? Because they weren't in Conria, right? Because we know there was an Irmin before and then an Irmin after, so where were they? Well, let's ask the Sibiling.
500年前、カンルイエに来たばかりの頃、私は全ての記憶を失ってた。カーンルイエの姫として王宮で長い時を過ごしている間にやっと少しずつ思い出したの。お兄ちゃんのことも含めてね。
Well, would you look at that? The Sibiling had their memories wiped before winding up in Conria. Interesting. They state they slowly began to regain their memories, but never share to what extent. What's even stranger is, even if something nefarious happened to the twin in those missing years before their arrival to Conria, it didn't shape them into the monster they are today. That turn of events apparently occurred while they were traveling through the 7 nations with Dainsleif and came across the true nature of this world.
I have already traveled through this world once. Once you reach the end of your journey as I did, you will see for yourself the true nature of this world.
So ultimately, here's how I see it. I think there's 2 possibilities, and neither of them are particularly clean. The first is the direction the most recent Archon quest is seemingly pushing us towards. During the ship's first flyover over Teyvat, the twin was summoned by Conria, who we know since the time of the Crimson Moon Dynasty thousands of years ago, had been looking for a descender, quote, in anticipation of the arrival of their kingdom of gods from beyond the so-called ocean, or rather the arrival of beings who could transcend the gods. They founded an organization, an orphanage, to take care of such children. In latter days, the orphans of the kingdom and those who wandered in from outside were accepted as well. Something that happened, I don't know what, maybe the Sibiling somehow got involved in the Eclipse dynasty taking over, but something happened over this next couple thousands of years to cause the Sibiling to belong to this world.
There must be something different about your sister, because as it turns out, the world has recorded information on her after all. What? There is only one possible explanation. She belongs to this world.
We don't have the faintest idea as to what it means to belong to a world, so I'm not even going to begin to speculate on how that process looks like, because it could involve parameters we just don't know about yet. Regardless, following this, Irminsul would be changed to make the Sibiling seem as if they appeared during the final years of Conrad? See, this is where I get all, loosey-goosey, because if the Sibiling belongs to this world, then Irminsul alterations shouldn't even be noticeable to them. There shouldn't be this, oh, my memories were wiped, which leads me to the second possibility. The first flyover is unrelated to the Sibiling, and they truly were pulled out of the ship when they were summoned to Conria a little over 500 years ago, and this messed with their memories. That's it. Those I don't know, bro. What do you guys think?